And why not? We already announced. But we are excited because we have our in-studio guest, Kerry Alexander from Bad Bad Hats.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you. It's me.
Yay. Welcome back.
Yes, thank you. It is really nice to be here. As I was saying before we went live, I was a DJ on the station every semester. I was in college, and I worked for the station. So I spent many hours in this basement, so it is good to be back. And not too much has changed.
I was going to say, we might have some questions on how some things used to work, because now they don't sometimes. And this is the beauty of college radio. It makes it very fun.
Yes, definitely. There is, some of these systems look nice. This is a much nicer computer here. This might be the same board, I'm not sure. But I feel like probably some of these CDs on the shelf I handled 10 years ago, which is nice in some ways to have that sort of familiar feeling here.
I'll try to find one of the CDs that I love, because there's some cross-referencing on some, and it's clearly done in pencil on it.
Yes.
It was one, it was the Honey Dogs, and then they had all these notes on Noah Levy, and I thought, this is... Ooh. I am a former librarian, so there's a part of me that's like, oh, this is amazing.
That is true. I definitely did some intake on some of these CDs, so there's probably my handwriting on some of them that says, definitely play track 3, avoid track 7, that kind of thing. But I'm not sure which one it would be, but yeah. Yeah,
the H's just happen to be right behind what I'm saying, so I'm really hit on the Honey Dogs, apparently. That's the ones that I can pick out. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Did you play yourself too?
I'm not sure if I took advantage of that. But also, Bad Bad Hats at least wasn't actually formed yet at that time. So I wouldn't have been able to play Bad Bad Hats music at the time. But yeah.
Well, and I know that you have told the story, but absolutely, given the location, please tell us about the origin, the birth story of Bad Bad Hats.
So Chris and I met here at McAllister College in St. Paul, Minnesota. And we didn't know each other, though we knew of each other because we had like mutual friends, and it's a small school, so we all know each other on some level. But we, I think we're inspired to meet each other formally because we're each making music and posting songs on MySpace.com, because that's what you did in 2009. So we found each other's songs and liked them, and I think I was interested in doing like a duet, and I knew Chris could sing because he was in the a cappella group with one of my friends. So. And I was like, I don't know. But my friend was like, he's nice. I'll say yes. And he was like, yeah, sure, I'll sing. And then from there, we just started dating. And then by our senior year, that was our sophomore year. By our senior year, we were like, we should make music together and like form a band. And I had never been in a band before, so it sounded really fun to me to, plug in a guitar and have someone playing drums. So our senior year, we wrote our first songs together and recruited our friend Noah to play bass. And our first show was the McAllister Battle of the Bands, which I did organize as the head of the station. So I was a little self-nepotiz, but
that's earned. You've earned the ability to put yourself on there.
But I always wanted there to be a battle of bands at McAllister because I thought that sounded so fun. Because there were so many great bands coming up at McAllister at the time.
So many good bands at McAllister.
Yes, so the whole thing was super fun, and I don't know if they still do it, but I hope they bring it back if they don't. But yeah.
They do a lot of shows here sometimes, and in the basement of the library sometimes.
Yes.
And it's Wayne's...
Garth
or Wayne. You see where my
mind
was there.
Yeah.
Yes. Garth's basement. That's what it is. Yeah. That's. Now I have to ask if the band that won.
Yes.
Where can we hear them on the radio? What are they doing these days?
I don't know actually what they're doing. They're a band called The Last Import. They were sort of funky, like lots of horns. They were very fun, so I'm not surprised that they won. And also, they were the freshman band, and the show was in the freshman dorm. So we think there was a little bit of bias there. But it was in some ways it was for the best. I think the prize was that you got to open for Springfest, which is like the big concert here.
I'm familiar.
Yes, so, yes, as you know. So, in some ways I think they were the best band for that, but, and I think it was that sort of, early adversity just pushed us further.
Made you stronger.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny. Yeah. For folks who don't know what Springfest is, just give it 2 seconds. Now, to be fair, it has been decades since I was at Springfest.
Well, I'm sure it's like the same, but yeah, every spring, I think around like April, something. It's not right at the end of the year, but like a little bit before like finals and stuff. It's the one big concert, and there's always like when I was in school, it was always sort of like a fight against the program board because they were the people in charge of booking it. And I feel like every year people will be like, what the heck? Why did they book those bands? Like, no one's even heard of these bands. But you still always go because it's like the thing to do. Mm-hmm. And I think in some ways, like, half the fun was complaining about who they booked for Springfest.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is super. So where else did you play back then?
So we played all over the place. So when our first show was at McAllister, like near the end of the year. We also played like in the Leonard Center, the gym. Mm-hmm. But then when we graduated, we started playing in town, around the city, and we played a Fine Line quite a bit because they would let local small bands play on like a Monday or Tuesday.
Nice.
So we would get a group of our friends who were also in bands and put together a bill, and not that many people would come, but it was still a great practice to like start playing, and our friends would come and enjoy it. And where else? And we started playing, I think we played at like the Turf Club, I remember, and we played at the Hole, the U of M.
Oh, Kaufman Union?
Yeah. And we got to open for some bands with like the entry. That was really cool that when we got to start opening for bands, and that's really nice because you get obviously put in front of a different audience, but you also get to see like for the first time how like a touring band like functions and what they look like and act like and are doing, and you're like, oh, okay, cool, I kind of get it, yeah. Like I remember seeing before we had ever toured, we went to see a show, and I remember being like, gosh, like the like lead singer looks like so tired, like I'm surprised they didn't like dress up more for this like big gig or something. And then I went on tour and I was like, oh, I understand. You're like 2 weeks in and you can like barely get out of the bed. So it's little things like that they don't really understand until you're
doing it.
But yeah, but I think at this point we've played almost every small club in the Twin Cities.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good. We've made the rounds.
Well, you had a show in January at the Entry.
Yeah.
Very sold out show, but you did something that I remember from when I was a kid, and do the kids show and the drunk show.
Yeah.
Yes. So tell a little bit about that, which I thought was an amazing, awesome idea.
Well, we didn't like purposefully start doing this, but it became clear to us that we were like a family band, like whole families seemed to enjoy the music, and parents would bring their children to the shows, and I thought that was really great because I loved to listen to music with my parents when I was young, and they introduced me to so much great music, and so I think it was like, and so I was like really happy that like we are one of the first bands that some of these kids would see. It's good, you gotta get in while they're young.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that was so nice, and so like we've always had a good time at like all ages shows. And also we love playing the smaller clubs. Like it's such an honor to play the big rooms and to have that many people come, but there is just something about the feeling of like a 7th Street Entry that's just like intimate and cozy and like everyone feels close together, and so whenever we get a chance to play the smaller room, it's great. And then we can also do a thing where it's like, well, we can do a double header and do an earlier show so all the families can come, and then people let loose at the later show. And it is really interesting to see like the different dynamics. Both are good in their own ways. The alcohol and the non-alcohol shows.
Well, I went to shows all the time.
Yeah.
Underage, and that which is why I still call it whatever,
Yes.
I probably would try to use a more adult term now.
Right.
But I went back when I was a kid, yeah.
Yeah.
But it really was an opening to seeing, because otherwise it's hard to see music.
Yes.
It's,
Oh, yeah, totally. And I know, like, going here, like Turf Club was the closest venue, but that's a 21
As
plus.
an absolute 21 plus.
venue. So that was always tough. Like, it would be really annoying in college to be like, oh, like they're so close and I can't see
mile
it.
away.
I know, exactly. So yeah, it's nice. And it's nice too for like people who don't drink and just want to come to the earlier show, or just who are really sleepy and also want to come to the earlier show. That's good too.
That's good.
I was going to say, I heard that you were doing a lot of home shows too, because you were talking about cozy, small.
Yes.
I love this. Can you tell us something like a memorable moment too? Because I'm sure you are funny and have great stories all the time when I've seen you on stage. So I'm curious what your answer would be.
Well, so we had just started doing this the living room tour thing, but we had done, I guess we had played maybe like a couple living room shows like many years ago that were really fun, and we thought like a great concept, but I don't know, I think we sort of didn't know how to organize something like that again. But we recently became aware of a company called Undertow that like puts together tours like this. And so when we released the It Hurts EP re-release, it really felt like a good time for that, because it's like that was a record we made like in our tiny apartment bedroom, and it was like, oh yeah, bring it back to like the like homes and small spaces. So once we got hooked up with Undertow, that was great because they helped us book it and put it together, and it was super fun. It was like every single day. It's kind of like you like look up the address and you're like walking up to the place, and you're like about to like knock on the door, and you're like, okay, what's it gonna be? What's gonna be on the other side? But yeah, it was awesome. Just like really generous hosts. I mean, it's like we're so grateful that people are willing to allow us to do this. Like we were at one place and it was a couple, and the woman was the fan, and she was the one who saw the listing and was like, oh, we should do this. And we were talking to her husband before the show, and he was like, not gonna lie, when she told me she wanted an indie rock band in her house to play a show, I was like, is that gonna be a good idea? Like, do I want that in my house? But he's like, but this is really great, like everyone's so nice. And we're like, yeah, that's what we hoped. And so we were grateful that people took the plunge, and we're like, sure, I'll have 30 strangers come to my house to see a rock concert. But in that, there's sort of this like beautiful sense of like neighborliness and like community that I think also like post-COVID or like in the midst of COVID is really nice to feel again. That sort of just like being together with people and being kind and generous and open to new things was really, really nice. So the whole thing had a great energy, and we got to play a knife store in Chicago. We got to play a coffee shop. We played a salon.
Oh my god, I love it.
All kinds of experiences.
I like Bad Hats salon.
Yeah, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
come on.
And I got my hair cut the next day at the same place, so I was like, this works out
Bonus.
great.
That is nice. That is nice. Fantastic. Should we play a song of yours?
Oh, sure.
What would you, we're on the interwebs, we can play anything.
Wow. Maybe something from our most recent album, Walkman. But I don't know, do you have a lucky number? I think they're all radio friendly.
Then that's good. Well, I'm gonna say 2 because that's my favorite.
Yeah.
2?
Yeah.
2?
I think that's a great choice.
Detroit basketball.
Here
we go.
Nicely done.
Nice. And I will remind you that we're still recording.
Yes.
No swear.
Yeah.
I forgot to turn that off one time, and I said things we shouldn't.
I'm like, sorry. I love the house tour thing, and I think that kind of goes with the all age too. It just kind of incorporates it in.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yes, and there also one of the shows was a younger person's. It was their 15th birthday, and they decided that's what they want to do for their birthday, and so the parents emailed the host and said, it's our kid's birthday, and, like, do you mind if we bring a cake? And they're like, of course, bring a cake. So everyone had cake and just, like, celebrated the birthday together.
I think that's
nice, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like in some ways, like I'm not always, like, the one who would think to do something. Like, I'm a little, maybe, like, Chris and I both are, like, a little private and, like, a little, like, you know, reserved. So to sort of be, like, the catalyst for these kinds of moments was, like, really exciting, actually. Yeah. And, like, we felt like we were getting out of our own comfort zone. Yeah, it was really nice.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I appreciate, obviously, a big fan of your music, but
yeah,
it's almost like a comedy show, too.
Yeah,
you have such great wit, and I'm always like, in between, I'm like, okay, what is it? What's gonna happen? What's she gonna say? So it's just
thank you,
like extra bonus besides.
Nice, yeah. We like to think it's like a variety.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was gonna say, yeah, when we went during COVID, you guys played. It must have been a Christmas show or something.
Oh yeah, sure.
Anniversary show, and you made it so much easier, lighthearted. Because I remember we had to sit, and it was just kind of awkward. And I was like, this is so hard to listen to the music, but I applaud how you handled it and made it feel lighter when it felt sort of sad or
I know what you mean. Yeah. I know. Sometimes, like, it is funny because I think, like, some shows that would be, like, in some ways, like,
and we're
Detroit basketball by Bad Bad Hats, and we have Kerry in studio with us. Yay!
Track number 2, a great choice.
Yeah, I mean, that is perennial favorite.
It is interesting, the psychology or science of sequencing a record. I'm not always the best person to do it. Like, when we finish a record, so I was like, okay, we gotta figure out what the singles are gonna be and what the order is gonna be. And I always have, like, one idea, and then everyone else is like, no. I think I'm, like, too close to it or something. Like, I need, like, some outside voices to be like, no. Like, on a really fresh listen, these are the ones actually that stand out.
Well, and of course, they sound completely different when you've been working with them for 6 months or even longer, I'm sure, some of them.
Yes, I just know too much. And I think, like, some of them are my favorites for other reasons than, like, they're actually the best. They just, like, oh, I liked working on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because then I'm thinking of, you'd want it ordered a certain way for people, for the new listeners, but maybe a different way. If you could move them around.
Yeah.
I mean, the beauty, of course, of online music, but...
Yes. I was about to say, I don't know how many people actually, like, listen in order anymore, like, to albums, like, just as they are, but I still feel like it's nice to put in some effort to do it.
I think...
I do.
During and because of COVID, people started to again.
Yeah.
Because suddenly you had the time.
Right.
Otherwise, it's you're in your car, you're between this.
Right, yes,
you know.
Yeah.
That's... And some of the videos. What is your role in doing the video? You have so many good videos.
Thank you. Yeah. I honestly, I have an interesting relationship with the videos because it's like, when it's good, and when it's not, it's not. Like, when I have a good idea, like, I'm so excited and I can't wait. So I feel like this album, especially, like, I had just a lot of ideas and it was so fun to execute them. But then on some other albums, I'm just like, I just, like, fret about it because I, like, don't really have any ideas, and, like, it's coming down to the wire. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And it always works out, but yeah, so sometimes the videos give me anxiety, but when I have a good idea, I'm very excited. And I loved working on the Detroit basketball video, especially. I don't really remember how we came up with it, but Chris and I developed it, obviously inspired by isolating at home and sort of the activities that people were engaging in. So puzzling and
the chip in the
chips
bottle.
in the bottle, crafting and sleeping. So took great inspiration from that. And then I loved, we just really liked the idea of, I love, like, a heist movie, like, getting the crew together. So we're like, oh yeah, we should do, like, a classic, like, getting the group together, like this group of like highly trained like band members with their each unique skill, and they come together. But like, okay, it's like, what are they coming together for? It's like, oh, just like a child's birthday party is like what they've been called to play. So yeah, that one was fun. We enjoyed doing that, and we just ordered lots of stuff from the internet, and it worked out. Though it did sort of ruin my algorithm on my shopping sites, because all like the miniature chips, now I would be like, oh my gosh, what an amazing deal, like on this dresser, and then I realized it was like for a dollhouse. So I almost bought miniature furniture, but I caught it before I did.
That's funny. And how big a role do you play with the production of it?
So I actually enjoy the process of the editing videos, and so the Shame music video, that one I edited together. I don't know how to do like coloring, like that kind of edit, but I like putting the clips together. So Detroit Basketball, I edited the clips together as well, which was fun. But yeah, but otherwise we have a friend named Dan, who works in video production, and so he always helps us film, because he actually has know-how about the cameras and coloring and all that. But it's also nice because he lets me be a part of the process, because he knows I enjoy it. So yeah, it's been a good team effort. So he did the Nothing Gets Me High video with us, and Detroit Basketball, and the Milky Way, the Elvis video.
Nice.
Oh,
yeah.
I like that one. It's funny.
Filmed right here at McAllister College.
Oh, are you serious?
I'll have to give it a look in now again.
In the gym.
Yeah.
Okay, now I have to look at it again.
Bad hair with the wigs and
Yeah.
all that. There you go.
The inside of the gym always reminds me of Scottish Fest.
Oh, yeah.
So the wigs,
yes,
just kind of bring it around.
Yeah.
That kind of.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
I'm impressed with anybody who likes to do that kind of work.
Really, yeah.
No.
I think I really do enjoy like a tedious task. I don't know.
All right.
I know. So I think that's like, and I also do like all the like accounting and stuff like for the band. I got lots of spreadsheets. Wow. So I like both the creative and like the business side of
it. That does make me have to ask, what is your songwriting process?
Oh, sure. So for me, like usually, I do usually need like some like alone time. But often I just will be sitting on the couch watching TV, or like sports or something, with just my guitar in my hands, just like strumming while watching. And then sometimes you get like a melody idea start to go, and then sometimes you just like sing a tune, and like all of a sudden like a word is forming, and you're like, ooh, like that's cool. And then once you have that word, then like you have something to rhyme with, and then like usually it like spirals from there. I used to write the lyrics first, but I don't do that very much anymore, though I would like to challenge myself to like get back to that way of writing. But then usually I have like a melody and lyrics and the basic chords, and then I bring it to Chris or the band who's ever playing with us, and then they help me sort of get the full arrangement. Yeah.
So if the TV's on, I noticed that you have food and sports in a lot of songs. I'm wondering if it sneaks into your brain.
I think that's not a bad theory. Yes, it's just happening all around me. And I take like lots of like voice memos of ideas, and you can always hear the TV blaring in the background.
I like to hear there's somebody else who works like that.
Yeah.
I'm a famous to me, top ramen is still the height of cooking for me personally.
For sure, yeah.
But I watch all of the cooking shows while I write for a living. I mean, I do very nerdy writing, but it helps so much to have that background noise on.
Yes. Yeah, and like certain shows I need to pay attention, but I have like a whole like list of my shows that like can be like my background. Yeah. And most of them are food shows. Yeah.
Food. Flea market flip.
Exactly.
It's just a kind of you can look up at the 5 minutes that you actually enjoy the show.
Exactly.
And then
that
is funny.
The members of Shark Tank are always yelling in the background of my voicemail.
That's funny. Yes, that would absolutely change. Should we play another song?
Sure.
Okay.
Should we go back in time now? Yes.
Yes.
We should. To maybe something from Psychic Reader or It Hurts, which just turned 10.
That's weird.
Okay, we can go with. I know, maybe. Well, either way. What would you like to hear?
Maybe we can hear Shame because we just talked about the
perfect.
video.
Yeah. Number two.
Number two. See what we're doing with track 2.
Okay.
Gotta do a rocker for track 2.
I know, I like it.
I do feel like, like in some ways, I think maybe we are always influenced by like the track order of the album before as well. If that makes sense. It's like, we like the way that flowed and do a similar thing.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, like midway into Shame and then Walkman into Joy Basketball, I feel like a similar like transition.
Yeah.
Maybe we did that like unconsciously, but yeah.
You like a good flower that makes sense.
Yeah. One of my friends, who's in a band called Rap Boys, she was telling me that she as she's like writing the songs, like before she even goes like into the studio, she like has a sense of like the order, and I like appreciate that kind of. There's like that in itself is like I think like an artistry and sort of like a grander vision for an album that I've never dabbled in, but it sounds kind of like exciting to me to maybe think about an album in that way. It's just sort of have like a bigger plan for all the songs. But I've always just been all the songs are kind of like their own little.
Okay, I was gonna ask if you have sort of a theme or.
No, I never have.
Something.
No,
it's just each are their own little.
Yeah, which is why our albums are a little bit like all over the place sometimes. Because I just like never. I'm just like I don't know. That's what I want to do with this song.
Yeah.
It's like I have like a wily guitar solo, but then this one's gonna be like lush synths. It's just like that's just what makes sense to me for that song. Which is, I don't know, I think that's like maybe become sort of like a signature of Bad Bad Hats. It's just to sort of jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that though, because then you don't get stuck in it has to do this. Or
there is some variety for sure. Yeah.
It's variety again.
Yeah.
Spice Life.
Yeah.
Spice Life.
Like 20 seconds.
Okay.
So we're not throwing it out.
You get to a certain age, you can't see with them.
Just quite a ways, yeah.
Yeah. You are listening to Mostly Minnesota Music on WMCN 91.7 FM on the beautiful McAllister College campus in St. Paul. That was Shame by Bad Bad Hats, and we are delighted to have Kerry in the studio with us.
Yay.
Yay.
Picking all the best songs.
All the best songs, yeah. Well, and while some folks were listening to the music, we were talking a little bit about song order.
Yes.
And you had said before, but how set list versus a album list? How do you decide?
For a show.
Yeah,
that has like honestly been kind of tricky, and I think different members of the bands have had like a different philosophy on it. Like I was sort of always felt like I kind of liked starting like energetic and then kind of sort of like going into like a more like a slower part in the middle and then ending energetic. But our friend Khan, who played drums with us for many years, he always liked sort of like more like back and forth, like not ever letting it get too slow, which I came to see like that angle as well. But for me, all I would really care about is starting the set with something that felt energetic and fun, but also trying to find a good song that's like a good one to ease into, because you're always really nervous at the top of the set. So a song that feels like fun to sing and easy to sing, and feel good about your parts. And instead of I remember there was one release show we played where we were like, let's let's experiment with like our order, and we started with a song we had never played before, and it was just like
nope.
Not good for the nerves. It's just like, oh no, I don't know what's going on. But you have to learn that lesson sometimes. But yeah, like keeping the energy up at the top, and then also some stuff is like purely practical, like certain songs need like a capo,
Sure.
So you try to like bunch those together so you don't have to like be
Spend the
tuning
time,
like constantly. But then also for us specifically, because I have banter bits, we also arrange them so the gaps are where I can tell my stories. Yeah, but it is kind of a hard puzzle to put together, especially as we keep releasing more songs, and they're now choosing what songs get the boot and what ones get to go into the set is becoming harder and harder to say goodbye to certain songs. But we know how to play all of them, so in some ways we could be cycling them in and out, but yeah.
Yeah, how do you decide? Do you just feel like, oh, that one's had its day, or I'm not feeling that today? Or...
Yeah, well, I really like, because I like was in theater or something, I really like, this is the set, it does not change, and like I start to feel like the flow of like the set, and like I know what song's coming next, I know what my banter is gonna be. But again, other members of the band are like, oh, can we change up the set? I'm like, no, like I know the flow, like I'm in it, like now we're like 10 shows in, and it's like, like clockwork. So to me, it's like picking a set and sticking with it. And I do think certain songs like were always just like hard to play, or like certain songs like we never felt like we got a good reaction from the crowd. Like that's usually a reason why one doesn't.
That's a
make
solid
it.
Reason.
Yeah, it's just like
everybody walking to the bathroom.
Exactly,
that
it's just
out.
like exactly. It's just like you just like feel like you're losing the crowd at the song, or certain songs like we know people would like, but yeah, we struggle to like play them or something. So trying to find that balance, because there are certain songs like Midway we know we like need to play because it's one of the biggest songs of ours, but early on that one was kind of, we struggled to find an arrangement we liked. So for many years it was sort of like, oh, we know we gotta play it, but we like gotta figure out a way to play it that's like fun, and we finally figured it out. But so some of them like you have to just like battle with, but others it's like, it's hard, we don't need to play it, it's fine.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah.
Tangentially, instead of just recognizing that I'm just totally gonna change the subject now. It's Patreon, because you are very active. I mean, so it is a little tangential because you interact with people very much. Yeah. So talk a little bit about what you're doing with that.
That was great, because I think in COVID, when we weren't playing any shows, and we were missing just like making music and being together, like the band, and working on stuff. That became like a really nice way to hang out and work on music and feel creative and active. And so basically what we do is every month we write a new song, but like inspired by a theme. So like we did like a country song, and we did a pop punk song, and we wrote a James Bond theme song for a fictional James Bond movie that we made up. So things like that. So we just like have fun with it. And some of them are better than others because we're better at certain genres than others. But it's always fun, and I really enjoy like writing about the process and researching the genres and making playlists to be inspired by. So it's like, like if it's New Wave month, like who are the bands we're listening to like, try to write our best version of a New Wave song. So it's fun. Like I just feel like I'm constantly getting new inspiration and trying new stuff. And yes, it's been a great way to connect with fans and sort of have that kind of close connection with people who want to sign up and just like have more insight into how the band works. Yeah.
I like the idea of researching an era or a style. Did you run into some that you really made a point to you that like, oh, now they're my new favorite, or that is the worst band I've ever heard?
Honestly, like the New Wave month, I think I always knew that I liked those bands, but I think I didn't ever lump them together. But as I was making the playlist, I was like, oh yeah, that's my favorite song. I was like, that's my favorite song. I was like, oh, this is like really like an era of music that I like really love. I don't think country music was not something I was like super familiar with. Like I know like the like heavy hitters and
Dolly Parton.
Yes,
Yeah.
have always been a Dolly Parton fan. But I was like very familiar with like the '90s like crossover hits of like Shania Twain and Faith Hill. But that was basically the extent of my country knowledge. But it's cool because we would get like requests for like our live stream shows, and so that like helped me be like, okay, like let me check out that song and be like, oh wow, it's amazing. So I think one song that's become one of my like favorite songs is World of Surprise by Waylon Jennings. Was so good and like such a beautiful song, and yeah, I never would have found that song like probably without this process. Yeah, nothing's been like, ew, I wish we hadn't have done that month, because there's so much to love and like, so many different corners of the musical world, so that's been nice too. Yeah.
Nice.
I was going to say, it kind of reminds me of when MTV would do the things and they'd have pop-up videos where it would give you the interesting fun facts behind the scenes.
I love that.
Me too. I'm always like, what? Oh, I love a fun fact. So I think that's genius.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, I'm mostly just like drawing from like Wikipedia and stuff, so it's not like in-depth research. But even like reading Wikipedia and like a few other articles, like it's fun to like learn stuff I didn't know about it, and also to like type up, like write something, like I feel like I'm back in school, like writing my little paper about, you know, country music. What is country music? Yada yada yada. It's fun.
That's what it sounds like fun to me. I'd almost cultivate a voice or play an instrument if I could do something like that. And especially with It Hurts, because I grew up in this area. I know the zip code, like I know a few things in this world. Yeah, I feel like there are some definite reflections of McAllister in the music. Yeah, cool. I would like to think that Super America is about the one on St. Clair and Fair.
It is.
Because that's where I live now.
Oh, that's really. Oh no, you're right. You're right. It's about the other one. The one that's like.
I was gonna say. I assume it's the one on Snelling.
Yeah, the one on in Fairview in St. Clair.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I know the one you're talking about. That's that was across from that coffee shop. Is that a coffee shop?
It's been so many different things.
Yeah.
That.
So Chris and I so it is funny because I always think of the one right by campus, but Chris and I lived on Fairview and James the summer after we graduated.
Okay.
We sublet my English professor's house for the summer while she was on sabbatical in like Germany, and that's where we started writing her TP. So
well, then it very well could. That would have been the closest.
That would have been the
Super
closest
America
one.
there.
Yes.
Yeah, it's across the street from the darning store.
Yes, exactly. So what?
Or
the other one.
I love that name. That's awesome. Should we play one more song?
Yeah, should we play Super America?
Yeah.
Okay. That's
I just did that whole dance to say Super America.
2. We are on a roll.
Oh my gosh. 2.
I know. Here we go.
Oh,
we should buy lotto tickets. There we go.
Have you DJ'd in the summer before?
Yes.
It's fun, isn't
it?
Yeah. I feel like I came back like once like at my 5-year reunion in Disneyland. That was really fun.
It's the only tricky thing for us is we can't get into the building. So you have to hope that the DJ before shows up. Although the security guards are lovely.
Yeah, nice, yeah.
And that is the only Yeah, it's fine. I mean, but we're always limited because they only have community people, I think, on the weekends, anyways.
Gotcha.
So that's
yeah, it's cool. I like the way that we always used to do that. Yeah, we'd have people come in and do shows. It's fun.
Yeah.
And I think I didn't even realize this until I was like in charge of the station, but we figured out because we were petitioning for a new board, which may be this board. But at the time we had an even older board. It was kind of beautiful, actually. Kind of like there was something about it, like the old buttons and stuff. But we were like petitioning for a new board, and we learned that we were the largest club on campus, which kind of made sense with how many DJs were like involved. Yeah. And we could say that we, you know, the members of the community could come and be a part of it too, which I sort of hadn't appreciated until that moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, it's been. I didn't go to. I actually went to St. Kate's.
Oh, yes,
They kind of dated out of the McAllister pool. But I knew the campus well. But but it was kind of a fluke.
Yeah.
That I dropped my kid off at University of Winnipeg, I don't know, 6 years ago, and all she wanted was a radio show. And then she had me on, and Heather and I had the most fun picking out songs.
Yes,
when I was up. And I was like, home 2 weeks, and I see that they're looking for DJs.
Yes.
So he said, well, I don't have any idea if this is 1 in a million or 1 in 4.
Right, right. Yeah, totally.
It's fun.
Yeah.
So we were very, very nervous that first show.
Oof. Yeah.
I would always get nervous. Like,
there's a little bit of it.
It's
always.
a little bit of like, okay, I guess you're live right now. But yeah.
Don't you love when you're listening like to The Current or something else and you hear Dead Space?
Yeah,
you're
like, it's like, even they do that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think I had considered like that I like wanted to be a DJ or anything, but when I came to visit McAllister, there were like signs everywhere for like 91.7. Yeah. And I think my mom was like, oh, like look, they have a radio station, and like tuned to it. And they, like, 3 songs in a row were, like, the coolest song I had ever heard. And, like, one of them was, like, a song that I thought, like, only I knew. And then, like, 2 other songs, and I was like, whoa. And I think that was, like, partially the reason why.
People.
Exactly.
Yes.
I think it was partially the reason I was like, I gotta come to this school.
Nice.
And then, yeah, I made a beeline for the WMCN, like, table on the first day.
Nice.
But, yeah. That's nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because I sometimes have to be busy, so it's 5:45. So we talk for another 5 to mention something. Then we can have easy handoff to the next. Yeah, sorry. But sometimes it's just best to know what.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Just recorded this in I like remember writing it in that house, in my English professor's house. It's cool. Good memories.
I could just about pick out.
Yeah.
I'm sure. That is Super America by Bad Bad Hats, and we are lucky enough to have Kerry from Bad Bad Hats in the studio.
Yay, thank you for having me.
Hi, that song is just one of my favorites.
Yes. There's something about that one that has stuck with, I think, our fans. And even actually people like that song seems to be too, like, whenever we've opened for bands, we often play that one, and people come up to the merch table, they're like, you guys were great, like, what was that song about the gas station? And so yeah, something about that one seems to speak to people.
Because you're not asking that much.
Yeah.
There's something about, but it's very specific.
Yeah.
But you're not asking that much, and really you kind of got it all.
Yeah, that's right. Everything you need. You just need some junk food and some love and care to get through this thing called life. Yeah.
And I say I live just kitty corner from the SA, and there are days where I'm like, if I get myself some Diet Coke, I'm pretty sure I can make it till tomorrow.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
It's very so. Tell us, you've got some shows coming up. Actually, St. Joseph? You're in St. Joseph? Yeah.
We actually, it's a cidery called Milk and Honey Ciders. And actually, that was the place where we played, like, our first, official kind of, like, post-COVID lockdown show. I think I'll always have, like, really wonderful memories of that moment. It was like a beautiful summer day, and just to have so many people there and be back doing what we had missed doing for so long was so nice. So I am excited to return. And then we're playing Elk River, Minnesota, a place I've never been to before.
Oh, yeah.
That's also the great thing about being in this band is I have like a little cork board like map of the U.S. at home to put push pins in
Oh,
to
nice.
sort of
Very smart.
mark all the places we played on tour. And I was recently like switching over to a different map and putting new pins in. And I like could barely fit all the pins in Minnesota and Wisconsin because it's like just we've been to so many towns.
Yep.
But it's so great because I don't think I would have explored like this area as much without touring. So it's nice.
You could make postcards of that. That could be some of your
Yeah, that would be cute.
Ooh, that's
And here,
a good
this
idea.
is me again manipulating. I have to set a friend of mine was like, Bad Hats. She writes the nicest note when you buy merch.
Yes, I do write. I do write a thank you note in every order that we send.
That is touching. That is
Ooh,
very,
yeah.
very kind, above and beyond.
Well, that's nice because I think in some ways our band, like, you always want to grow and get bigger, but there are certain things that I'm so glad we get to do ourselves. So like sending our own merch and writing the notes and working the merch table, and I love saying hi to people at the merch table. So I'm not sure I would ever want to stop doing those kinds of things. So
Yeah.
it's nice to have to have the band maintain sort of like that personal like touch.
It makes such a difference.
Yeah.
It just makes such a difference.
Yeah.
That's
More connected, yeah.
more connected. And I do want to make sure that we mention the next show in the Twin
Yes.
Cities. The,
The Pizza
Pizza,
Luce
yeah.
block party, yeah,
Ooh.
which we've never played before.
That's fun.
So yeah, so we're
August
excited.
12th.
I think so.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
I do love pizza.
What's not to love? What's not to love? All right, well we'll play out with one last song from Bad Hats. But thank you, thank you
Yes,
so much for
of
joining us.
course.
It's super fun. It's nice to have.
Yeah, thanks for
Alistair
inviting me.
along.
I'm glad it's worked out.
Yeah, it's perfect. All right, what do we just chance it and say pick an album and we'll do the second song? I mean,
Yeah,
we're
so
on a
we're
roll.
just we're missing so Lightning Round would be the one we're
I
missing.
don't know why it's not letting me move down there.
Huh?
It's missing.
And the second song
We'll
on
find
Lightning
it.
Round
We'll find it.
is maybe Write It on Your Heart.
Oh yes, you know the order.
All right. Write It on Your Heart by Bad Hats. Kerry, thank you so much for
Thank
joining us.
you.